2021, what a year, good and bad. Let's talk about it. What's up, everyone? My name is James Kukowick, and I do weekly videos about web development related topics. And 2021 was a pretty interesting one. It was actually a pretty good year for me, I think, in terms of content creation. I've gained a lot of followers. I've made a decent amount of money on the side, and I've really grown as a content creator. And I think I've been recognized more as a content creator and a teacher. I think is most important to me is like teacher first and foremost, and content creator. So let's just talk about all that. I want to give you a couple of like personal life updates, how much money I've made in different places, some of the different activities I've done, some career things, gear upgrades, social numbers. I've got my notes over here that I'm looking at, and then things that I've just been learning. So we'll just kind of dive right in. So personal life, my wife and I have been playing a ton of golf this year. We started this last year. Actually, you can watch the previous recap video and realize when we actually started playing golf. But we've been doing that almost every weekend this year as much as we can. We also, this is really important for me, in a COVID world, got to play team sports again. So we've been playing soccer together for the last several months. We've been doing this for 10 years plus, playing co-ed soccer together. Been doing that. We've done lots of work on the house. We had a deck put outside. We had new sod put in, irrigation, trees cut down. It just looks totally different, and it's super exciting for us. We got vaccinated. Speaking of COVID and doing sports and stuff, we got vaccinated, which meant that we felt safe to do some travel again. We went to a couple of different weddings, made a couple of different small trips, and now things are kind of up and down with first the Delta, now Omicron. That's tough. So it's been really tough for us not to be able to do all the travel and things that we've wanted to, but we have been able to do some. So that's been a lot of fun. And then I've done a lot of DIY projects and trying to build stuff and that sort of thing. I actually remodeled my closet, which is over here. I'll include a picture so you can see it. So it's just a few notes on the personal side. On the content side, this has been such a huge year. I enjoy teaching so much, and I have now so many different outlets for sharing the content that I want other people to be able to learn from, and for myself to be able to learn from later on and reflect on and all those things. So one big one is started a podcast. So my podcast co-host, Amy Dutton, reached out to me back in February. It was like, hey, I enjoy talking to you on your live stream. Would you want to start a podcast? And this was randomly, like completely out of left field, out of nowhere. And so we talked about it and we decided to start. So we started Compressed FM back in March. We've done about 40 different episodes, which is really hard to believe. One episode a week. We've got some announcements coming up for next year, actually this year, because it's technically 2022 now. But we're going to do even more next year, this year, 2022, whatever it is. We've got lots more coming. With this past year, 2021, we had 5 different sponsors. It's really incredible to have sponsors from your very first episode. I feel like that sort of stuff doesn't really happen. We've had almost 40,000 listens. It's been really cool for us to see the stuff that we just get together and talk about, other people care about and learn from and help inspire other people. We got to actually speak about this at Next.js Conf, which was huge for us. This is a big deal, I think, for both of us personally. Vercel has been a sponsor of the podcast. So to be able to go out and represent ourselves with Next.js, with Vercel was really, really cool. On the job front, like career updates, back in, I can't even remember when it was, I think May or so, I got promoted at Auth0 to lead developer media. This was a brand new segment of the developer relations team or developer marketing as a broader organization. And I was tasked with starting this new initiative of we're going to sponsor content from other creators, me being able to leverage my connections with people and my understanding of how it works to do sponsor content. I'll talk about my sponsor content in a minute. But working with other content creators to create content around Auth0. We did the Auth0 Hashnode Hackathon, which was dope. And it was so cool. So many awesome projects got submitted. That was really cool. And then made a career change to a different company. So I started with PlanetScale as a staff developer advocate back in November. So that was an opportunity for me. I did a video on that as well if you want to kind of learn more about the why, but it was an opportunity for me to join a really small company, an early stage startup, much earlier stage than I've ever been a part of, and kind of help build this thing out. So I've been really excited about that. I've done a little bit of PlanetScale content on the channel already. You'll see more, but that has been really exciting for me. So that hopefully will be a pretty big year for me career-wise in 2022. Now, another thing, I think I mentioned this in the previous video as well, my wife actually started working at Auth0. So for about a month, we were working at the same company, on the same team, in the same house, which was actually a ton of fun. So now, even though we're at different companies, we're in the same space. We talk about conferences and things that she's looking to sponsor or I'm looking to speak at or sponsor. So we have a lot in common. We take walks together and talk about all that stuff. And that's just a lot of fun, I think. On the social side, I had some pretty big numbers that I think were really exciting. And again, before even like getting into the numbers, I think it's most important. Like number one for me is always creating value for people, helping teach people, and also learning myself and just helping grow the community. So some of those efforts have have affected or inspired these numbers. So on Twitter, I grew from 13,000 followers to 26,000 followers. I also started on TikTok. You should check me out, James Q Quick on TikTok. This is my outlet to do everything like satirical and funny and humorous about being a developer and sometimes serious conversations, but more geared towards funny stuff. So I've been doing that for a few months and I'm at 3,000 followers. I've got a big goal next year of getting to 50,000 followers. It's just a number. I don't know. But my goal is to just create more and more entertaining content that is helpful or just entertaining for people. Learn, Build, Teach community is the Discord that I run, and we grew from 700 people to over 3,000. That's been really cool to see how many people are engaged there, the stuff that they're sharing, the stuff that they're creating, and to be a part of that, I think is really, really cool. So I'm expecting another big year, exciting year for the Learn, Build, Teach community. About a year ago exactly, I lost my Instagram account. No idea why, it just disappeared. I was mad about it, so I didn't have Instagram for like 9 months, 10 months, and I just recreated it a couple of months ago. So I have Instagram, James Q Quick, if you want to check that out too. Feel free to go and follow me there. And then lastly, on YouTube, this is the big one. I went from 27,000 subscribers to now 120,000 subscribers. And I have the YouTube plaque is back behind me. That's just so wild. I never really imagined that many people would follow the stuff that I do, that I would have that sort of growth, that I would be able to help teach and impact that many people. So that's probably the number one special thing for me, I think, out of this year. It's a very long-term accomplishment for me. And it's something that I think just gives me more motivation and more excitement to continue to do that stuff going forward. So YouTube has been huge. I love it. Stick around for more of this stuff in the future. Things that I've learned, I've worked with Svelte and SvelteKit and Tailwind CSS and Supabase and Stripe and Prisma and Next.js, just all these different technologies that are super, super exciting. And I can't wait to build more with that stuff, to learn more about that stuff and continue to share that stuff with you. Let's see. One more thing, gear upgrades. So got a new camera and lens and moved my desk around. I'm still figuring out my positioning and things, so that may change. I got a NAS drive, a network attached storage. It's got 28 terabytes of space for me to store my video content and things like that. That's huge. I got a new laptop, the new MacBook from working at PlanetScale. This MacBook is amazing. It's everything that MacBook should have been a long time ago. It's incredible. So I absolutely love this MacBook. So it's a few of like general gear upgrades. Those are other small things like, I don't know, like tripods and things that I got, but those are the big ones. So the last thing I want to cover is just like side income for me in 2021. And this is a really cool thing for me to share, but also have to do it in a way where I don't feel like it's bragging, but I think it's useful for people to understand the impact that side projects, that content can have on your career and on your family financially. So this past year, I made somewhere between like $60,000 and $70,000. And there's several different ways that I make money, which is really cool too. So from courses, there's my Learn VS Code course on Udemy. And I forget the total number, but it's made $37,000 total over the course of its life. So it's maybe $20,000 this year or something. There's the React and Serverless course that I published. First time publishing a course on my own outside of Udemy through a platform called Podia. It's made a few $1,000s. And then my podcast co-host and I, Amy Dutton, created the Advent of CSS and Advent of JavaScript, or adventofjs.com. You should go and check that out. We created that, and that challenge has sold maybe $6,000 total. Again, like we'll have to split that and all that stuff, but that's been really cool because Amy is super, super talented. We've got just amazing landing pages at adventofjs.com, adventofcss.com. Go and check those out. And the content I think is really good. And we're going to do more of that this next year with courses and smaller things like Advents. So go and be ready for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. YouTube ads is another one. So every video that I publish, most of them, 95% of them, I turn on ads and I just make money from people basically watching the ads inside of my videos. And I forget what the number is. Let's see if I can pull it up. In this past year, 2021, I made almost $21,000 off of ads alone. So it's just me publishing content consistently, turning on ads inside of them. I gained 93,000 subscribers, 5.2 million views. YouTube is it's just been wild. And that has all come from a couple of videos, the I don't need Postman anymore and the 5 JavaScript concepts you have to know. Those videos are huge. And then there's other VS Code ones down there too. That sort of stuff is just really mind-boggling, to be honest. And so in addition to ads, one of the things that you open yourself up to when you gain more and more of a following is the ability to do sponsored YouTube videos. Now, I think at the beginning of the year, a dedicated sponsored video, I would charge like $1,000. Now I'm charging $5,000 for a dedicated video. And that, I think, is really, really empowering to look at how valuable my time is, but also how valuable other people think my time and content and brand is to potentially support their brand. That's really cool for me to be able to work with exciting companies, create content on exciting products, and then get paid for it and continue to grow that side income. So that's been really cool as well. In addition to sponsorships, the podcast Compressed FM has had sponsors from day one. I think we've had 5 different sponsors. And we've had sponsors on every episode, and we're looking to expand on that in 2022. So that's been another one. And then I did one sponsored live stream. This is actually sponsored through Microsoft, where I worked with one of their products in Microsoft Azure on stream. And I forget, that was like $400 or something like that. But it's really cool to think about as a content creator, as a teacher, as a brand, you have the ability to turn that into revenue for yourself while also, from my perspective, never sacrificing on the value that I create for people, my ability to teach people, my ability to engage, and never selling something that I'm not actually really behind. So I get to work with cool products, cool companies, cool people, and just have fun and continue to make money with it. So if you're ever considering a career in tech, building out content yourself, it is a lot of fun. It is a lot of hard work. None of these things have come easy. It is a ton of work to stay consistent and create this much content. But for me, it's been well worth it. So that has been my 2021. I can't tell you how excited and optimistic I am for personal life, for content, and everything in between, job, for 2022. So I think this is going to be a huge year. Hopefully, I know I kind of addressed this in the previous year's recap. COVID has been so tough for so many people. Hopefully that stuff starts to turn around, although I think we expected it to last year. So we'll see where it goes. But all I can do is stay optimistic and excited. And just really looking forward to working with you, creating more content for you, and supporting the community in any ways that I can. So if you have any follow-up questions on things you might want to know a little bit more, feel free to drop those in the comments below. If you have any requests for things you would like to see next year in 2022, actually it's technically this year now, but if you have any requests for things you'd like to see more of on the channel, let me know in the comments below as well. Thank you so much for being a part of the channel. Thanks for checking out the video. Can't wait to see you in the new year.